Being one of the most public figures at taking a critical thinking look at martial arts, I'm often asked if Bujinkan is effective. I had my personal thoughts about this martial art for a while, but I never took a close, investigative look at it before. Yet after getting so many requests, I decided that today is the day. We're going to take a close look at what claims Bujinkan make and how effective and reliable it is in delivering them. For those who do not know, Bujinkan is a martial art inherited and promoted by Masaki Hatsumi. Instead of as ninjutsu, Masaki refers to his practice as Budo. He claims that his style is derived from 9 different schools, out of which only 3 are ninjutsu. But taking a look at Bujinkan practice, which consists of wearing black gis, the use of samurai swords and other weapons, it doesn't take long to figure out that this martial art is very much ninja inspired. Now, before we take a look at videos of their training methodology, I always like to first take a look at how the martial art is generally introduced. While Wikipedia is not the perfect source of information, it usually is a good place to get a rough overview of what a practice claims to be. So let's start there. When I checked the Wikipedia page for Bujinkan, a couple of things stood out for me. To quote, Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu training does not include participation in competitions or contests, as the school's training aims to develop the ability to protect oneself and others using techniques that focus on disabling an attacker and or removing their desired ability to continue as efficiently as possible. And then, the approach used in the Bujinkan includes gaining compliance through pain and utilizing potentially damaging techniques in order to survive dangerous situations rather than focusing on winning a competition or evenly matched duel. This is a statement I used to hear in Aikido and Wing Chun all the time. There are a number of martial arts practices which demote competition by basically claiming that their practice is too dangerous for it. Let me tell you straight off the bat that it's a ludicrous statement and that it can be debunked easily. First of all, it is commonly known that almost any technique that works will be applied in MMA competitions. If pain compliance techniques or moves which disable an opponent would work against a resisting opponent, we would soon see them applied in MMA. A believer in this myth would try to counter this argument by stating once more that their techniques are too dangerous for MMA. But to debunk this claim, all we need to do is to take a look at one of the predecessors of UFC, the Gracie challenges. The Gracie family accepted challenges from any martial art and allowed groin strikes, eye gouging, and any other desired techniques. In some of the documented fights, the challengers did try to gouge the eyes, strike the groin, or apply other quote-unquote deadly techniques, all to no avail, proving that this approach is both highly ineffective, nor it can be easily produced in a fight unless it is constantly trained with a resisting opponent, which brings me to another point. One more argument that could be made by a Bujinkan enthusiast is that their techniques are too dangerous to train with resistance. Yet if you take a look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as an example, it is mostly trained with high to full level of resistance, yet the level of injuries is very low. Many of the BJJ techniques could be fatal or very dangerous if applied fully. But the fact that injuries are still rare is a proof that only a very small amount of martial arts techniques are indeed dangerous to train with the resisting partner. In my analysis, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on effectiveness. If a martial art practice does not claim to be effective, then such an analysis would not be necessary. While in the Wikipedia article, there is no direct claim that Bujinkan is effective, there is the formerly read attempt to justify their training methodology. Yet what claims would we find if we would check Bujinkan websites directly? To see if a claim of effectiveness is made in Bujinkan, I typed in Bujinkan self-defense into Google. The result? There was no shortage of websites that promote their Bujinkan practice as an effective form of self-defense. One website even claims that Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu training is comprised of extremely effective, proven methods of self-protection and self-defense consisting of unarmed and armed defenses against armed and unarmed assailants. I'll repeat this one more time. Extremely effective, proven methods. Now that is a serious claim. When I hear such a claim, my next usual step is to go to YouTube. While not all events are documented and shared, these days we have the luxury of getting to see a great amount of recorded events that did happen. If something is possible, it is very likely that you will find some recorded evidence of it on YouTube. Or in other words, if a martial art is truly effective, it is very likely that you will find video evidence of it applied under real circumstances. If I type in BJJ Street, Boxing Street, or MMA Street, there's no shortage of documented examples of these practices applied under real pressure. When I type in Bujinkan street, we see a lot of videos where Bujinkan is taught in a dojo, claiming to teach how to use it in the streets, or we see videos of people performing the same highly choreographed dojo techniques without resistance, but with regular clothes. Yet I was unable to find any evidence of Bujinkan being effective under real pressure. The next step is to take a close look at the methodology itself. I decided to go straight to Bujinkan self-defense videos, and there's something really important that needs to be addressed here. In each of these videos, there's not only 0% of resistance, there's also 0% of aliveness. Aliveness is a term coined by coach Matt Thornton. It generally points to a mix of unpredictable motion, resistance, and timing. But even if you break down this term and focus only on one piece, unpredictable motion, we see none of it in these videos. Each time the attacker strikes or grabs, they then stop, stand still, and wait for the technique to be performed on them. No human being in a fight or self-defense situation is going to stop and wait for you to apply your technique. Now, a Bujinkan enthusiast could claim that they're only training muscle memory, and that once the actual fighting starts, that they will perform their technique perfectly. This is where the subject of sparring comes in. It has been made clear at the beginning of the video that Bujinkan does not promote competition, and for many, that means no sparring too. But when I searched for Bujinkan sparring, I did find a couple of examples. In the first case, we see something that happens pretty much every time a martial art, which has no competition or pressure testing, tries to spar. Suddenly, all of the complicated, flashy techniques that we see in choreographed videos somehow disappear, and all that we see left are either poor kickboxing techniques, or if things go to the ground, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves. The same is evident in a documented sparring match between a ninjutsu guy and a kung fu guy, which looks like a regular sparring without any of the hundreds of complicated techniques seen in many of the Bujinkan videos. In an example where more complicated techniques do appear, by taking a closer look, something else becomes evident. First of all, the attacker sticks to poorly executed straight strikes, but more importantly, he still stops and waits for the technique to be applied on him at the end of the strikes. That basically renders this quote-unquote sparring meaningless. It also naturally begs the question, if faced with pressure, the Bujinkan practitioners fall to poor kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, why not simply train those martial arts instead? It is clear that many Bujinkan schools claim to teach effective self-defense techniques. When taking a closer look, it becomes evident that this claim is an illusion. Thus, before believing something that is claimed without evidence, always take a critical look at it before you choose to believe it. If you want to learn how I personally became disillusioned with my martial art after 15 years of practice, click on this video right here. Thank you for watching, and keep owning your journey.